Today I'll be walking through my To-Do app for my final project. I chose to use a mock API and just input a simple data, name, to-dos, and ID for my To-Do app. Moving into my app, we've got the main TSX file. This handles most of my routing, and so you'll see our login component here and the app here, set up with the router provider down below. I also chose to keep all of my types on a separate file, and so we've got them all exported. Moving into my app, this is my parent component for almost everything else. Got lots of imports here, and then state is used several times. Initially to track things like whether or not the sidebar is open, which list is open from the user, and also storing all of our to-do list from the API. This also handles fetching all of the lists initially on the first load. And so we'll log in just to demonstrate that. So that will gather all of that data here. And then it returns several components. So we've got the sidebar here, and then we've got the task view or the welcome. So the way this is set up is that starting with the task list, this will only show if the user has clicked it open, if the open task is true. If not, it's going to show just this very basic welcome screen with the logout button. So this is one of my 3 pages. Same with the sidebar. We also have some kind of if language. If the sidebar is collapsed, it's going to not show it. And then if this expand sidebar button is clicked, it will display the sidebar. Moving into my welcome screen, as you can see, it's very simple, just some text welcoming the user. And then we've also got our logout component included in this page view. The logout includes a simple function for handling the logout and then navigating us back to the login screen when they log out. So we've got that on click connected to this button. If we click that, it takes us right back to the login screen. Moving into login, we have some React forms here in the return section. You can see form input for the email and the password, and then a button on the bottom. And then we've got some prevent default to make sure the page doesn't reload, and some state for updating the email and password, although I don't have any authentication set up. So as long as you have an @ symbol in the email address and put something in the password, it will log you back in. Moving into the sidebar component, this one has 2 components, 2 children components, actually maybe 3. I think just 2. First, we have a create list component here, and so you'll see that up top here. And then we also have our my list component that displays all of the existing lists on our API. There are props passed down to both, as you can see in this section. And then lastly, we have this minimize sidebar button that you saw earlier that allows us to collapse or expand the sidebar. Um, Here we're also including some buttons on the My List section to delete any lists that we no longer want. So that is the sidebar. And then going deeper into the sidebar, one of its children components is My Lists. And this contains 2 different buttons, as you can see here. One that will open the task list if the user clicks on this and there's an event listener there. So if this is true and the user clicks it, then it will set open task and display the task for the list the user clicked on. And then we also have that delete button that I mentioned, so we can get rid of lists there. Going up to the create list section within the sidebar, we have again some user input, a React form that allows the user to choose whatever name they want and then click this add button that's at the bottom. And that will use the post method to update the API and add the user's new list. When you click into the list, it will display as empty. So the user can then add their own tasks there. Moving into the task list, this is the screen that you see here that has whatever tasks are saved displayed. We've got a bunch of props passed in from the parents. And then we have this handle delete task that is going to delete any task that the user selects. So for this one, we also have an update method. And so in this case, the user can double click on an existing task and update that. I don't have a button, so you'll just have to click return to save it. So if it is set to is editing, where is it? Oh, okay, that must be within the task item. So we'll move into the task item here. If it's set to is editing, it will allow the user to see the form and input whatever they want. And then when they click enter and it's no longer editing, it will just display the task as is, like whatever was last saved. We also have that delete button built into each individual task here at the bottom. And we have another put method, which is what saves that user input and uploads that to the API. And a handle update function to handle all of that stuff, as well as some state to track the status of editing. Moving into create task. So this component is within the task, within this task list view. And this one allows us to add a new task. So we're creating a new one using the put method. The user can write whatever, click add, and it will um, add on to their existing tasks there. It returns again a React form with a button to add.